I'm sure you've heard of the War of 1812. You probably remember something about the British troops, the burning of Washington, D.C., and even the Star-Spangled Banner. But I bet you didn't know that during this war, American settlers invaded Spanish Florida. They weren't just fighting the British, they were fighting the Spanish, the Native Americans, and even each other. This conflict was known as the Patriot War, and it was one of the most chaotic and forgotten chapters in American history. And right in the middle of it all was a little-known battle at a spot called Waterman's Bluff. Today we're going to uncover the untold true story of the Battle of Waterman's Bluff, a quick but brutal clash that could have changed the course of American expansion. In the early 1800s, East Florida was still under Spanish control. But the United States had its eyes set on expanding southward. American settlers, frustrated with Spanish rule and the presence of British forces in the region, launched an invasion of Spanish East Florida. This conflict was known as the Patriot War, a mix of land grabs, private militias, and messy diplomacy. The idea was simple. American settlers would seize control of Spanish Florida, destabilize Spanish authority, and prevent the British from using the area as a staging ground during the War of 1812. The invasion was technically illegal, but nobody said expansion was easy. In March 1813, American forces set up their camp at Eleazar, Waterman's Plantation, a prime spot with sweeping views of the Bells and Jolly Rivers. This wasn't just any plantation. It was extremely valuable, giving the Americans a perfect vantage point to monitor Spanish movements. But what started as a peaceful occupation quickly turned into a flashpoint of violence. Throughout the spring and summer of 1813, American forces lived off the land, using Waterman's crops and livestock. But they weren't alone for long. On August 8, 1813, Spanish loyalists who had come to nearby Amelia Island launched a surprise attack on the camp. The Spanish attacked by both land and water, hoping to dislodge the American forces and reclaim the strategic Bluff. But American commander Buckner Harris was ready. He had 30 men well concealed, waiting for the right moment to strike. As the Spanish charged, the Americans opened fire from their superior position, exploiting every tactical mistake the Spanish had made. The battle didn't last long. Less than 20 minutes, in fact, but it was brutal. The Spanish suffered 18 casualties, including 6 dead, 12 wounded. And the Americans? Not a single man was lost. Harris and his men had not only defended their position, but sent a clear message. This was their land, at least for now. The victory at Waterman's Bluff allowed the Americans to maintain their position and launch further raids against Spanish-controlled areas, including nearby Fernandina. But this win was short-lived. As the political winds shifted in 1814, support for the Patriot War dwindled, and the Americans were eventually forced to abandon their ambitions in Spanish East Florida. In the end, the Battle of Waterman's Bluff became a footnote in a much larger story of territorial struggle, international intrigue, and the chaotic early years of American expansion. It's a reminder of how messy history can be, and how sometimes the smallest battles can have the biggest impacts. Today, Waterman's Bluff is a quiet residential riverfront community, a far cry from the bloody skirmish that took place here over 200 years ago. But if you visit, you'll see a small historical marker about the Battle of Waterman's Bluff. If only these trees could talk.